nothing is impossible.
Nothing is impossible.
I have to put it here. Nothing is impossible. And I think even the UAE ruler can tell you that nothing is impossible just looking at how the UAE has grown within the past few years. Anyone who's willing to drive the energy landscape in Africa and other developing world, and knowing that we will also take from you. We will give you the network, we will give you the support, but we also need you to give value to the forum.
I just want to get it clear. So you guys are still doing this for free, like among industry?
Yes,
like,
it's a non-profit organization, yes.
Okay.
Yes, so we seek support from companies. For example, if there's any company around UAE would like to partner with young entrepreneurs in Africa, they're open to come and partner with us as well. If there's where they feel that they can add value by training, we have young entrepreneurs who will need training in the energy infrastructure industry as well. So currently, we are not making profit for it. We are thinking long term. We are thinking 10, 20 years now to come, whereby what if a community is supported, is knowledgeable about the landscape that they're playing in energy infrastructure. So it will generate business for people. As an organization itself is not for profit, but the outcome will be profits in each of the companies, because most of the people in the collaboration chamber are organizations. We have a few individuals who are employed by the big corporations, and we need them because we want to understand what are the big corporations expecting for us. You understand? So we cannot just look at, it's just entrepreneurs alone. We need the big shots. We need the ADNOCs. We need the Totals. Because then, while we are curating the sessions, the dialogues, we understand what does Total want, what does ADNOC want. Then we curate sessions for our entrepreneurs to teach them, to train them, to exchange ideas on what will make a good proposal or what will make a good project for Total, for ADNOC.
So anyone in the industry sector, entrepreneur, like working class, can join the organization?
Yes, but I will limit the word anyone. Let me be clear, because they need to be very driven. We need to understand, even if it's an individual, we need to understand what can you bring to the table, because we are moving away from a generation that just wants to take, right? Or the government this, the government that, the government this, the government that. No. Yes, we would like a system that's working, which is the responsibility of the government. However, I, as a young person, what am I doing? Because just being a young person does not give me a true pass to say that I'll have all the entitlement that I need to have. I need to put in some work. So if it's an individual, what is your intention? What do you see yourself being? I have an individual who joined as an individual, and he works for DP World. And I asked him, why would you like to join the collaboration chamber? And he said, I understand a lot about the FPSO. FPSO is floating production units for oil and gas. And because of the volatility of markets, it becomes a very instrumental part of energy production. So this is what he understands. And he actually had a session with us where he taught us about FPSOs. People didn't know that, and the opportunities in Senegal, in Ghana, so people can know where they are targeting as opportunities. So it's just not anyone, but we can say anyone who's willing to drive the energy landscape in Africa and other developing world, and knowing that we will also take from you. We will give you the network, we will give you the support, but we also need you to give value to the forum, because it's a non-profit. So we're not asking you for money. there's business discussions aside, but to learn about the things that we are talking about, you don't need to pay. But okay, so if you don't pay for that, what is it that you also bring to the table? Right? So it's anyone who is driven and would like to contribute to getting impactful projects within Africa and actually driving Africa's energy future. And that can be an African or a friend of Africa, and also a person who believes that Africa is the future. So anyone around those criteria, if I may. Yes.
I mean, that is interesting. Yes. And how do you see this organization shaping the continent? Like, I know you've spoken about a few things and like how you guys are doing to change the way things are operating. But do you really see this organization as one of the organizations that Africans need in maybe in 20 years, 30 years? How do you see this organization in
The vision is to be the leading catalyst of business collaboration, because as we've noticed, nobody can do anything alone.
That's true.
You need people to collaborate. So we are at the center of collaboration, and we see it as a catalyst of intra-African collaborations and also internationally, bringing international companies into Africa and making sure they understand the landscape, because sometimes challenges are a company from, say, Turkey, as an example, will want to come to Africa, and they think the way things operate in Turkey is the same way things operate back in Africa. And not even that. The way things operate in Nigeria is not the same way they operate in Kenya, and it's not the same way as it operates in South Africa. So with that in mind, having people across the entire continent within the collaboration chamber, we are able to advise on how to collaborate. The vision will still remain the same.
The same, okay.
But the implementation of every project will be different. We understand the complexities, we understand the nuances of projects within Africa, and this is where we will be able to align. And I see Africa collaboration playing a very crucial role in enabling Africa's energy future, because we are at the center of, firstly, ensuring that companies within Africa are able to collaborate, and we are actually pursuing other institutions to come on board with us, to work with us as well, because each institution has been formed in different countries. So learning from those countries, what is exactly the current need, and going into a database to say, these are the supporters that we do have, what can we do? So in the next 20 years, I see a lot of impactful projects all the way starting Egypt up to South Africa. I see a lot of impactful projects within Africa, and not necessarily just energy projects, but associated projects that will drive economic progress of the continent, because that's at the top. Economic progress is at the top, but of course, energy is just one of the industries,
pillars,
of the pillars, and energy is everything. When a country is electrified, you can be able to do a lot of the things. So this is why we chose energy as being at the main forefront. But there are other activities that we do to enable economic progress of each country within Africa.
That is interesting. And you mentioned something that really caught my attention. What are some of the challenges that, let's talk about the energy sector. What are some of the challenges that the energy sector is facing? Maybe while establishing projects in Africa or while doing something, what are some of the challenges that you guys face?
The first and the main one is just the narrative of what people think Africa is. And that has been brought about for the longest time, has been brought about by the media. And I always make a joke with my friends. When an outsider comes from wherever country they come from, right? And most of these people, they're not even the elite people, they're just the local people within their countries, but they choose the slums of any African country, and this is the narrative they want to send to the outside world, and that has been in the long term. The narrative, we need to change it. There's so much in Africa. It's rich in resources. But what are the challenges within these resources? Destabilization of countries. Democratic Republic of Congo is very rich in minerals. But there are people, certain people, that do not want to see DRC being stable, because when there's chaos, there are other people driving out minerals. Right? So the narrative and destabilization, so much interference from the Western world in terms of what Africa can do. And now when it comes to projects, they're actual, real good projects. They can call it green, geothermal as an example. It's a really good source of energy. However, the financial institutions, they put a barrier into funding African projects because, it's too risky. What makes Africa too risky is because you're putting a standard of a European nation to a very young nation in Africa, where seemingly we got independence just less than 30 years ago. But you're putting it in the same scale as a country that has been in existence for 400 years, being independent as an example. So financial barriers in that sense. Now, there's the energy transition as a buzzword. I call it as a buzzword because it's a tool. This is my opinion. It's a tool for people to look good, the energy transition, whereby there are good projects where with the current technology, we are able to generate power with very, very less emissions because of the technology in curbing the emissions. However, because there's this energy transition buzzword, they don't want to fund the projects within Africa because, it's polluting the air. But let's go back to the history of what has been polluting the air for the past 2,000 years. What has been the source of pollution? What percentage does Africa pollute the air, climate change and all of that? And just pure sabotage from the Western world. I will call it pure sabotage because when you come to the real understanding of the technicalities of climate change, you will know that the earth is designed to clean itself, and not saying that we shouldn't take action in how we need to produce energy responsibly. But because now there's a certain group of people who are afraid of Africa rising, they will set those standards, unrealistic standards, and only towards Africa. The other day, Spain went on a shutdown, right? Because there was no power. This is when they had said, we are shutting all coal production. But then when it gets too cold, they needed to back up their power generation. So it's almost double standards, Asha, right? Double standards for me. And this is where Africa Collaboration Chamber and other networks that I am associated with, I feel it's time for Africans to develop their own solutions. They have to lead the solutions. We don't want to expect people from outside to come and help us or solve our problems. We understand the nuances. We understand the complexities. And right now, the idea is to educate as many people as possible to say, don't go to the streets demonstrating about climate change. Firstly, understand what is climate change. Understand what is just transition. First, when they say just transition, what are they telling you? Understand that before you go to the streets. Let's understand what is just transition and how does it affect you? How does it affect an old woman in the village who has kids who want to have education? When we understand the impact, the real impact, the last mile impact of these decisions that are made with maybe 2-3 people in the boardrooms, when we understand the impact of those decisions, then we take it upon ourselves to say, look, we need to sit down, Africans versus Africans and friends of Africans. It's not just to say the West is bad. There are people who actually are pro-African because They understand the richness. They understand the instrumental role that Africa will play or has played in the minerals world and energy as a whole in the global perspective, and they're here to support us. So we need to sit back and ask ourselves questions before we go and join the masses in climate change demonstrations and all of that. And this is where I do feel Africa Collaboration Chamber is debunking a lot of that with support from other institutions as well, other experts as well, and allowing our own youth to challenge the status quo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is cool. This is interesting, and you guys, you can see the changes. Like you can see, like from when you started the African Collaboration Chamber to now, yes. Can you really see that there's changes happening?
Since we started, there has been maybe 10 people who have seriously considered entrepreneurship, and they have formed their own energy companies.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. And I think I should say this, now that I'm thinking about it, 80% of them are women. Yeah. I had to it was not intentional, because I do believe we need both of the worlds, men and women. But then just thinking about it, it's young women who have formed these companies. And that makes my heart happy to see these young women taking up roles. And we have conversations, we have late night conversations, and so there's this tender, it's asking for this, what can I do? It's like, listen, it's okay. We will package your tender, you will present it to the client. And to me, this is success. When I told you, seeing the value that I can offer to the world, this is success to me. We've seen people leave their banking jobs. I'm not saying everybody should resign, but they've felt within themselves what they can do to the energy industry. And actually, one of the directors at the Africa Collaboration Forum Chamber is a former banker.
Oh, a former banker.
Yes.
Okay.
And he has put himself into the vision, and he's driving the vision in Mozambique, like you cannot imagine. You will think
in Mozambique.
Yes. You will think that he's been in the energy industry for the longest time. But because of this learning experiences, we share experiences, we train each other, we have discussions, we have impact dialogues, we have business to business, almost led missions. It has helped us more and more aware of what we can do as individuals, as companies, into the energy industry. So I count it as success, because I have seen real projects happen. And currently, the biggest is a Kenyan lady who took upon herself to put an assembly plant for charging stations in Kenya. And we're actually currently helping to raise funds for the project, because the customer base has become too much, and she needs to increase the manufacturing capacity. So we are raising funds for her. And this is all renewable power as well. So do I count that as a success? Yes, I see. And it's only been in existence for the last 2 years, and 6 months officially institutionalized. Before, it was just informal WhatsApp groups, and we still did projects, yes. But then in the first 6 months, we're like, this thing is bigger than us. We need to institutionalize it, because we see other people wanting to come and work with us. So there has to be a structured way of operation. So there's big things happening.
Wow, I'm really happy to hear. I mean, I love your story, and I'm happy to hear how far you've come. And one more thing that I'm really curious is, what are some of the things you've learned on your way? Like, what are some of the lessons that you can say, this is it, or this is?
My biggest would be, nothing is impossible.
Nothing is impossible.
I have to put it here. Nothing is impossible. And I think even the UAE ruler can tell you that nothing is impossible, just looking at how the UAE has grown within the past few years. When people didn't believe that he can literally say, may there be water over there, and there will be water.
And there will be water, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
so I think I've learned a lot being here in the UAE and doing whatever it is that I'm doing as well. The pillars of UAE, the tolerance, the resilience as well. So firstly, nothing is impossible. And it's the people who think they can change the world, they're those that will change the world. This is something that I need to put there. And thirdly, if you want things differently, then do it differently. You can't be expecting an apple from a lemon tree. You have to plant an apple, seedling, watch it. So that also has taught me patience to understand that it will take time, but the goal remains. The strategy will change depending on the situation. When we didn't know COVID will be there, right? We didn't plan for it. But there was a goal that I need to be impactful in the African continent in one way or another. It meant that my strategy had to change. So the goal remains. Instant gratification, we have to put it aside. If you're to be impactful, instant gratification should not be in your vocabulary. Just put it aside and trust that whatever it is that you're putting out to the world will come back.
Yeah.
And whatever it is that we see right now as a success is as a result of so many late nights, so many conversations, so many knocking of doors. And the biggest of all is the integrity. Why am I doing whatever it is that I'm doing? When nobody is watching, will I still do the same thing that I said I will? So if you have your why, everything else becomes very easy to navigate, even in the most challenging times. Because you have a why, it's easy for you to navigate. You're like, okay, this is just temporary setback. Then you snap back to your reality and say, look, I know I'm here to make a change, to drive impact, and I'll still come back. Even if when I'm feeling down, I'll still be able to come back to the why I'm doing whatever it is that I'm doing. Obviously, integrity is the moral compass that allows me to do what I'm doing. And it's not a fancy word. Integrity is not a fancy word.
It's not.
Right?
It's not.
Yeah, it's not a fancy word, but it has really opened doors for me. Yes, it has really opened door for me. Try it. Yeah, I can tell everyone to try integrity. And especially right now when we want quick. We want.
Yeah.
I want to be a millionaire tomorrow. I wish I could. I mean, if anybody's watching, I could do $1 million. But then the integrity as it is has opened doors for me, and I think I've centered myself around that.
I mean, that is good. I love some of these lessons you've learned. Now, what is your? I mean, I know you work with a lot of younger people, but there's someone watching that they don't have that opportunity to work with you. What could you say to them? Like, just give them a piece of advice. Maybe they're in their teenage years and they're looking forward to life. What could you say to them?
I'm glad you mentioned teenage because I have a 13-year-old mentee in Kenya. Her name is Masiho Pongare. And she's very well spoken, and every time she will record herself and send me videos of herself, it's like, could you criticize me?
Oh, really?
Yes. Could you criticize me? What do you think? And we did an event in Kenya. It's called Power Connect. This was just to bring individuals in the energy industry to talk about the opportunities in East Africa. And because of what she was doing, I invited her to this event to be a speaker. And she had a poem, an energy-related poem she delivered. And why did I want a 13-year-old in such a space of, the national oil company, the national electricity company amongst these people, is to show her that this is where you belong, to bring her in the middle of these people, to learn, to have conversations. So she was asking me, so what should I tell Mr. So-and-so? It's like, what do you want to say right now? How does the poem reflect to you? Because the poem was all about the dream she has about Africa being a giant.
Oh, really?
Generating its own energy and economic prosperity. So I asked her, whatever it is that if you believe in the poem, this is exactly what you talked about with Mr. So-and-so. As a teenage, is the curiosity of what would you like to become? Who is this? And don't have just one role model, because I don't have one role model. I have several, because different aspect of life requires different people, different experts. So I choose something that I see in this person. I focus on that and learn from that person. So any young person watching and would like to be in the energy industry, you do not need to be an engineer to be in the energy industry. But whatever it is that you can offer as yourself, put yourself out there, be curious. Curiosity is the mother of all invention, because when you're curious, you now start to break down things. Oh, this is done this way, this is done this way. You open the books, read. Curiosity will get you to read books, to understand, and not just being fed information on television. You have to read, you have to challenge, you have to ask the whys. And this way, slowly by slowly, you will get into the rhythm of what it is that is your belief system, and knowing that I feel like this is what I could offer to the world. Yes, it's important to be given, but I think the core is when you want to give, to contribute, it becomes very easy. When you contribute to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, subconsciously the other person feels obliged to contribute to you. And then the world will bring everything back to you in one way or another. So I think for young people, they need to be curious, and they need